Hi there, this is Professor Eckhouse, and I'm going to talk about systems of measurement. We're going to be converting between U.S. system, between that and the metric system, and then within the metric system, as well as Fahrenheit and Celsius. So we're going to start with converting between U.S. Units, length, volume, time, and weight. The key to doing this is that units cancel just like numbers or variables, So if we had 2/3 times 3/4, we would be able to cancel these threes and we would get 2/4. And I could continue canceling things. So it's going to be the same thing with units. If you have a unit on the top and a unit on the bottom and you're dividing, you can cancel. So the steps to converting are first to determine what you're converting to and from. Step 2 is to find the conversion between those two units. And step 3 is to write the conversion as a fraction so that the units you are going from are going to cancel out and what you're going to is on top. My question is, why is this possible? Why is this possible? Well, stop for just a moment and think, do you agree that A over A is 1? Hopefully you said yes. And why? Well, it's because A equals A. Well, if you have two things that are equal to each other, like 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, it means they are the same thing. If I showed you 12 inches and I showed you 1 foot, they're the same thing. So that means we can say there are 12 inches per 1 foot, and it equals 1, right? So if I multiplied by that, I wouldn't be changing the value. Just like if I multiplied by A over A, I would not be changing the value. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so I am 66 inches tall. How tall is that in feet and in yards? Okay, so we are going to start with the first step. The first step was decide what you're converting from and to. So we're converting from 66 inches to some number of feet. So the second step is to figure out what our conversion factor is. So our conversion factor is going to be 12 inches equals 1 foot. All right, so good so far, right? All very clear. Now, here's where we take what we just said and decide how we're going to set this up. All right, so we make a conversion factor out of that equality where we say 12 inches per 1 foot, or we can say that there is 1 foot per 12 inches. So you've got to decide which one. They're both true. So, and we usually say this right here as per. There's 12 inches per 1 foot. All right, so we're going to start by writing what we're given, 66 inches, and we're going to say times, and this is going to be our conversion factor. And then we're going to hopefully get to feet, going from inches to feet. All right, so now we need to decide which one we're going to use, the first one or the second one, so that inches cancels and feet is on top. Well, inches is only going to cancel if the new inches is down here. And we want the feet on top. So we need feet to be on top. So I am going to choose this one right here. And I'm going to put it in as my conversion factor, 1 foot per 12 inches. Now, why can we do this? Because 1 foot and 12 inches are equal to each other, and A over A is 1. So we're not changing the value of this. We're just changing the units. Okay, so what cancels now? We've got, if this is over 1, we've got inches on top and inches on the bottom, and they cancel out. And when I put this in my calculator, I get that I am 5.5 feet tall. All right, so the next question was in yards. All right, so we need one more conversion factor here. We need another conversion factor, and that conversion factor is going to be, and you can start from the 66. 66, if you're going to go from inches to yards, we need to have that there are 36 inches per 1 yard, or that there's 1 yard per 36 inches, one or the other. So which one is it going to be? That's the question. All right, so I'm going to change the color of this to be consistent with what I've been doing here. So which one of these am I going to choose so that the inches cancels and the yard stays on top? And that is that one. So I get 1 yard per 36 inches. And that is going to give me, inches are going to cancel, and I'm left with yards. It is a good idea to circle what you're left with just to make sure you stop and think, was I looking for yards? Yes, I was. So you're going to say 66 divided by 36, and you're going to get 1.83, and I'm just rounding to the second decimal place, yards. Okay, so that's how you do that. So why don't you try this one? How tall is 46 inches in feet and in yards? So give it a try. It's just like the last one. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to set up your plan. 42 inches is going to how many feet? And then you want to find your conversion factor. 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. And then you're going to set up your two choices, 12 inches per foot or 1 foot per 12 inches. All right, and then we're going to set up our 42 inches times what gives us how many feet. All right, so choose which one you're going to use so that the inches cancels out, and I choose this one right here, and that's what I'm going to put in, 1 foot per 12 inches. Now I've got to go look and see what cancels. Make sure that the inches cancels before you move on and that you're left with feet on the top. That's what you're going for. All right, so 42 divided by 12 is 3.5, so she's 3.5 feet tall. All right, so now we're supposed to convert that to yards. Now I'm going to do this the other way. This time I'm going to say, all right, well, there are 3 feet in 1 yard, right? So we've got 2 conversion factors here. I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to write over here to the right. I've got 3 feet per 1 yard, or you've got 1 yard per 3 feet. Now you may get to a point where you don't have to write this down, and you can work directly from here and decide which one goes on top and which one goes on the bottom. But until you get good at this, I would recommend continuing to do it this way. All right, so now this time I'm going to start with my 3.5 feet, and I'm going to go from there to yards. 3.5 feet times what equals yards. So now I need to decide which of these two over here I'm going to use. So I want feet to cancel. I'm going to use this one, 1 yard per 3 feet. Now check that what cancels, cancels. What you want to cancel, cancels. And you should get 1.2 yards. Okay, so that's my other answer. It's 3.5 feet and it's 1.2 yards. All right, everything else is just like that. You just have to go find the correct conversion factor. So this next one says the bridge at the bottom of my driveway can handle 12 tons before it collapses. That is true. I actually have a bridge at the bottom of my driveway. It's made out of wood, and it can handle 12 tons. So how many pounds can a big old truck be when it goes over my driveway? So let's start again by saying what we're looking for, 12 tons to pounds. And then we're going to go find the conversion factor. And if you're in my class, you have a sheet with all of this on it, and you can just go look it up. So 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. So our conversion factors are going to be 2,000 pounds per 1 ton, or you're going to have 1 ton per 2,000 pounds. All right, so we need to set up our equation to fill in the blanks. So we've got 12 tons times some factor equals how many pounds? Which one are we going to use? So I want tons to cancel out, and I want pounds to be left on the top. So that is going to be this one. And we're going to put in right there. So I've got 2,000 pounds per 1 ton. Make sure it cancels. It really, really does. Yes, one on top, one on the bottom. And you're going to find that this is, oh, and pounds. Circle the pounds. Yes, we're finding pounds, and that is what we're looking for. So 24,000 pounds when you multiply those together. So this answers the question, the age-old question of, do I multiply or do I divide, right? Do I multiply or divide? Up here, we were dividing because the number was on the bottom. Here, we're multiplying. And it's going to be different depending on what you're asked and depending on the conversion factor you use. So you have to pay attention to the units. All right, so how many tablespoons are in 3 cups? So I'll get you started on this one in case you don't know some of the conversion factors. So we're going to start with 3 cups, and we're going to we are going to tablespoons. Okay, so tablespoons are, the abbreviation is actually a capital T. Teaspoons is a little t. All right, so what is our conversion factor? If you go look at the sheet that I have in my class, it is 16 tablespoons per 1 cup. And C is cups. All right, so we've got our two conversion factors to choose from. We've got 16 tablespoons per cup, or we've got, I'm erasing too many things as I erase, aren't I? Or I've got 1 cup per 16 tablespoons. So which one do we use? So let's set up our equation and get ready to fill it in. So we've got 3 cups times some conversion factor equals tablespoons. We want tablespoons on top. We want cups to cancel. So that would be this one. All right, so we've got 16 tablespoons per 1 cup. Make sure you set it up right by checking to make sure that the unit cancels and you are left with tablespoons on top just like it asks for. So if you set this up, it's really hard to make a mistake. If you set it up and take the time to do that, don't just try to do it in your head. So 3 times 16 is 48. How do I know times? It's because they're both on top. All right, so 48 tablespoons. Try this one. How many pounds is 124 ounces? All right, so first we're going to set it up. And 124 ounces is converted to how many pounds? So we're going from ounces to pound. So now we need to go look up the conversion between ounces and pounds. You may know that it is 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So we're going to set up our two conversion factors there. 16 ounces per pound, or what's the other one? 1 pound per 16 ounces. All right, so let's set up our sentence, our math sentence that we're going to fill in. 124 ounces times some conversion factor equals how many pounds? All right, so pick which one you think we're going to use. Hopefully you see that it's ounces on the bottom and pounds on the top. So 1 pound per 16 ounces. All right, so we've got ounces are going to cancel out. And we are going to be left with pounds on top. 124 divided by 16, if you put it in your calculator, is 7.75 pounds. All right, so let's compare the methods if we're going from feet to miles or miles to feet. I just want you to see this, how similar they are, but of course different. All right, so going from 5.5 miles to feet, there's our plan. And so we got to go find our conversion, and the conversion is that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So we're set up the two conversions, 5,280 feet per 1 mile, or 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So let's set up our math sentence, putting it over here. And we get 5.5 miles times some conversion factor equals how many feet? All right, so which one are you going to choose? You want miles to cancel and feet to be left on top. So that would be that one. 5,280 feet, 80 feet per 1 mile. Make sure that your miles cancels out, one on top, one on the bottom, and feet is left. And you're going to take 5.5 times 5,280. And you're going to get 29,040 feet. All right, now compare that to finding how many miles are in 14,000 feet. All right, I did this because Colorado has 14,000-foot mountains that people like to climb to see how many they can do. So I wanted to know how many miles up that is from sea level. All right, so this setting it up looks like this. 14,000 feet equals how many miles, or going to how many miles. All right, so we're just going to use the above information because we have it all set up. All right, so here we go. We've got 14,000 feet times some conversion factor equals how many miles? Well, this time we're going to use the other one because we want the feet to cancel. We want the feet to cancel. So we're going to have 1 mile per 5,280 feet. So now you want to make sure that the feet cancel. And you're going to take 14,000 and this time divide by 5,280, and you should get 2.65 miles. So 14,000 feet, those mountains are 2.65 miles tall. All right. Using mixed units of measure in the U.S. system. And we're going to do this in the metric system too, but we're going to start with this, things that you're more probably familiar with. So we're being asked to add 13 pounds, 13 ounces, 24 pounds, 13 ounces. You may have heard like when you were born, you were 7 pounds, 9 ounces or whatever, and that's how we measure in the U.S. system. So in order to add this up, you are going to have to do them each separately and line them up like this. So we've got 13 pounds, 13 ounces, 24 pounds, 13 ounces. So that's each one of these different ones, and they are all added up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to line up the pounds, and we're going to line up the ounces. So we get 63 pounds, and I'm going to leave off the S. We usually don't do that. And 28 ounces. But the problem here is that this is more than a pound. 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I need to pull a pound out of there. 2 pounds would be 32 ounces, right? So it's smaller than 2 pounds. So we're going to pull a pound out. Well, let's pull a pound out. So we're going to pull it out. We're going to subtract 16 ounces. And we're going to take that pound and we're going to add it over here to the pounds. So subtract it out of the right and add it to the left, because they're equal to each other. Subtract and add. 16 ounces, 1 pound. They mean the same thing. So let's do that, and we get 64 pounds. 28 minus 16 is 12 ounces. And that's how you add mixed units, because that is 1 pound. Okay, so I've got another one for you to try on your own. So add these links. This time it's in feet and inches. So pause the video and give this one a try and see what you can do with it. All right, so we've got 23 feet 3 inches plus 28 feet 9 inches plus 12 feet 5 inches. And we're going to add all of these together. Just add them up. So 23 plus 28 plus 12 is 63 feet. 3 plus 9 plus 5, and I'm going to have to do this on the fly here because I changed this after I made my key. All right, so I've got 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 5 is 17 inches. All right, so I know that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I need to pull a foot out of the inches. Okay, so we're going to pull a foot out. 12 inches is a foot. Well, then I have to add it over here to the feet. All right, so we get 64 feet, 5 inches. 64 feet, 5 inches is our final answer. All right, so we've got something a little different here. We've got 4 planks of wood, which are each 6 feet 4 inches long, and they're placed end to end. What is the total length of the wood? All right, so one way to do this is to just add them all up, right? But when you add a whole bunch of stuff the same over and over again, that's called repeated addition. That is multiplication. Multiplication is repeated addition. So we could also do it like this. We could say 6 feet 4 inches times 4. But I'm going to make sure and say times 4 to both the feet and the inches. So we get 24 feet, 6 times 4, and we get 16 inches. So again, we need to pull a foot out of the inches because that's more than a foot. So it doesn't really make sense. So we're going to say minus 12 inches, and we'll just say plus 1 foot. Okay, we're going to turn those 12 inches into a foot. And we're going to add those up, and we're going to get 25 feet. 16 minus 12 is 4 inches. I've got another similar one like that. Why don't you guys give this a try? A spaghetti sauce recipe calls for 2 pounds 6 ounces of ground meat. The recipe needs to be tripled. How much meat will it need? All right, so I skipped the repeated addition and I just went straight to multiplication. So we're going to multiply these together. So we get 2 pounds times 3 is 6 pounds. 6 ounces times 3 is 18 ounces. All right, so that's more than a pound. So 1 pound equals 16 ounces. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. All right, so I'm going to subtract 16 ounces, and I'm going to add 1 pound. All right, so I get 7 pounds and 2 ounces. And that is the final answer because 2 ounces is less than a pound. Okay, continuing on. Convert between US and metric units of length, volume, and mass. All right, so use the conversion tables for this. So here we go. A cup holds, this is going to be done just like what we did at the beginning. So a cup holds 600 milliliters of water. How many fluid ounces is this? So the first thing you have to do is you have to set up what you're converting from and to. That's step 1. Step 2 is to go find your conversion factor. 1 fluid ounce equals 30 milliliters. Okay, so that's probably not very familiar to you, so I would definitely use the sheet that you were provided with. All right, so we need to set up 2 different choices, a fluid ounce per 30 milliliters, or we can say 30 milliliters per 1 fluid ounce. All right, so we need to set up our little math sentence so we can fill in the blanks. So we've got 600 milliliters times some conversion factor equals how many fluid ounces? All right, so which conversion factor are we going to use so that milliliters cancels and fluid ounces is on top? And that would be that one. So we're going to put 1 fluid ounce on top and 30 milliliters on the bottom. So now double check that you've done it right by canceling out your milliliters and checking that fluid ounces is what you're going for over here, and it is. So now you're going to take 600, divide it by 30, and you will get 20 fluid ounces. All right, so a 600 milliliter cup holds 20 ounces, fluid ounces. All right, how many quarts of soda are in 5 2-liter bottles? Not just 1 2-liter bottle. So what should you do first? Hopefully you thought to yourself, I need to multiply 5 by 2 liters, and that will give me 10 liters. All right, so I get 10 liters, and I need to convert that to quarts. All right, so what is my conversion factor? You would need to go look it up if I wasn't showing it to you. So the conversion factor is that 1 liter equals 1.1 quart. All right, so 2 different ways to write that. 1 liter per 1.1 quart, or 1.1 quart per 1 liter. So write your math sentence and let's fill it in. All right, so 10 liters times what? So we need liters to cancel. So we're going to use this one right here. So we've got 1.1 quart per 1 liter. So liters, the unit liters cancels, and we're going to multiply 10 times 1.1 to get quarts as our final answer. So 10 times 1.1 is 11. So 10 liters is 11 quarts. They look very similar if you have a liter bottle. They look like a quart, but they're just a little off. All right. How many miles are in 100 kilometers? I'll get you started on this in case you don't have the conversion factor. So 100 kilometers is equal to how many miles, right? So that's our question. That's what we're looking for. So we've got 1 mile is 1.61 kilometer. There's also another conversion factor of 0.621 mile equals 1 kilometer. All of them go in both directions, so you just have to pick one. I picked the first one. So if you want to do it like me, pick the first one and give it a try. All right, so my conversion factors are either 1 mile per 1.61 kilometer or 1.61 kilometer per 1 mile. So setting up our math equation, it looks like that. We have to choose one of them. We want kilometers to cancel, so I'm going to pick the first one, 1 mile per 1.61 kilometer. How do I know I did it right? I check to make sure the kilometers cancels. So now what math am I going to do? I'm going to divide 100 by 1.61. And I get 62.11 mile. You could have also used the other conversion factor, and it would have worked fine. Instead, you would multiply by 0.621. You might even want to try that. You would get 100 kilometers times 0.621 miles per 1 kilometer. And that also gives you 62.11 mile, or something close to that. Sometimes they're a little off. All right, so converting between Celsius and Fahrenheit temperatures is what we're going to do next. So take a look at this. Water boils in Celsius at 100, but in Fahrenheit at 212. Normal body temperature, take a look at the numbers, 37 and 98.6. And water freezes at 0 in the Celsius system and 32 in ours. Kind of random, right? So they've set up theirs to make sense. It freezes at 0, boils at 100. So everything in the metric system is based on water. When it boils, when it freezes, how much it weighs, everything is based on that. All right, so the conversions that you need are here. So I would have those written down somewhere. And we're going to use them. So you can pause the video and write those down. All right, so we're going to convert 70 degrees into degrees Celsius. So our conversion going from 70 degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius means we need the one that equals Celsius, and it's 5/9, whatever degrees Celsius is, minus 32. And so our degrees Celsius in this case is 70. That goes in right there. So 70 minus 32. At this point, I think it's just a calculator problem. Make sure you know how to use your calculator properly. If you're not getting the right answer, ask someone, and you get 21.1 degrees Celsius. All right, why don't you try number 15 on your own? All right, so we're converting 110 degrees Fahrenheit to some degrees Celsius. So we need the one that equals Celsius, just like before. So this one is 5/9 times, this time we're going to put in 110, right? And then minus 32. And when you put that in your calculator, you should get 43.3 degrees Celsius. All right, as you might imagine, we have to know how to go the other way. So you'll need the formula for that one. Convert 90 degrees Celsius into degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so we're going from 90 degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. So we need Fahrenheit to be here. And so we get 9/5 times the degrees Celsius. And then on the outside, we add 32. So be careful. This one, you take the 9/5 of just the 90, and you should get 194 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, try this again. Convert 35 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit. So we're going to use the same formula. Let me just move this on up here. All right, so we're going to use the same formula. We're going to have F equals 9/5 times the degrees Celsius plus 32. All right, so we've got 35 degrees, and we just put that in the calculator. And we should get 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so now we're going to convert between metric units of length, volume, time, and weight. And I believe I'm going to stop the video here. Oh, no, I think I have enough. I'll just continue on. Okay, so we have first to make up this chart and fill it in. All right, so what are all the bases in the metrics? Well, they are meters, grams, and liters. Kilos abbreviation is K. Hectos is H. Deca is DK. Deci is D. Centa is C. And milli is M. What do they all mean? Well, the base is times 1. Deci means times 0.1. So times 0.1. 0.1. Let me write that better. I'll start over. Times 0.1 or divided by 10. So this one is times 0.01 or divided by 100, or 100 less, 100 times less. And this one is 0 times 0. So times, that should be a times, not a point, right? That's times 0.001, or you can see it as divided by 1,000. This one is times 10. This one is times 100, and this one is times 1,000. So what does that mean? Well, a kilometer is 1,000 times bigger than a meter. A hectometer, HM, is 100 times bigger than a meter. And a decameter is 10 times bigger. So we can fill this all in for all of these different things if we want to. Okay, so you can go ahead and fill that in yourself, and you can have all of the abbreviations. And I may just fill it in really fast. Decagram, centigram, milligram, decaliter, centiliter, milliliter. And as you can see, you've heard some of these a lot, but some of them you have not. So you might want to pause the video, and I'm just going to do it quickly, and you can come back and see. Okay. All right. So, and I think I'm going to fix these times, just put an X, because I think those dots are very confusing, I decided. So we're going to say times, times, and times. All right. So use the chart to convert the following. The way you use this to convert, and I'm going to try really hard not to make a mess here, is if I'm converting from meters to centimeters. And the reason we put the small ones on the right is if I'm going from meters to centimeters, I'm going to move the decimal point over 1, 2 to the right. If I'm going from milliliters over to hectoliters, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. That is it. That's all you do. There's no dividing. There's no multiplying. There's no looking up conversion factors. You literally just use the chart, move the decimal place. All right, so let's do this. Kilometers, where is it? So kilometers is here, and meters is here. That means we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. So 3 right. And I'm doing that so that I can delete this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to go 3 to the right. So I've got my 10. I'm going to write it separately here. I've got my 10, and I'm going to take my decimal point 1, 2, 3 to the right. That means 10 kilometers is 10,000 meters. 10 kilometers equals 10,000 meters. See how many of these you can do on your own, because once you get that, you can do anything, right? So centimeters to millimeters. I'll do another one here. So centimeters to millimeters. Let's come up here and look. So centimeters, centimeters is here, and we're going to millimeters, so that's here. 1 to the right. Okay, so 1 to the right, 1 right. So we're going to take 350, and we're going to go 1 to the right. So it becomes 3,500. Okay, let's try 27 kilograms to milligrams. And let's see, kilo to milli. So kilograms is here. Milligrams is here. Oh my, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. Okay, so 6 right. I'll write that down. So we've got 27, and we're going to go, that's the decimal place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In other words, add 6 zeros. 27, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other nice thing about this is that it's very much based on the base 10 number system. So, all right, 750 milliliters to liters. So we're going from milliliters to liters. Milliliters would be here, and we are going to liters, which is here. So we're going 1, 2, 3 to the left. Okay, 3 left. Let's remember that. We'll come down here and say 3 left. All right, so I've got I've got 750, and my decimal is here, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the left. So it ends up to the left of the 7, 0.75 liters. All right, liters to milliliters. I'm just going to fill the rest of these in a little at a time. So instead of jumping up and down, I'm going to fill them in and see if you can get them. So try this one, pause the video and give it a try, and then I will write it down. So 12 liters is 12,000 milliliters. You move 3 to the right using the chart. Okay, try this one. All right, so from meters to centimeters, you're going to go right 2. So this becomes 820. From centimeters to meters, you just move right, sorry, millimeters. It's just right one more. So this becomes 8200. I'll try this one. All right, so for this one, from milligrams to kilograms, you're going to move left a lot. So you're going to get 0.054. Let's go look. Milligrams to kilograms. Milligrams is here, kilograms is here. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left. So that's how we got that. All right, 0.054. Try hectoliters to liters. All right, so you should get 65,000. All right, so you should have moved, I believe, 2 to the right. And this last one, try that. Okay, so you're going to start at grams. You're going to go to centigrams. Centigrams is 2 to the right. So moving 2 to the right, you should get 250. All right, just a little bit more. We're going to use mixed units of measurement in the metric system. All right, so Caleb is 179 meters tall, and Elia is 171. How much taller is Caleb than Elia in centimeters? So they want it in centimeters. That means we need to convert this one to centimeters. So 1.79 meters to how many centimeters, right? So all we're going to do is move over 2 places to the right. If you look at the chart, centimeters is 2 places over to the right, so we get 179 centimeters. All right, well, we've got 179 centimeters now, and we're just going to subtract 171 centimeters, and that is 8 centimeters. It's really much simpler than the US system. All right, let's try the last one. Oh, yeah, last one. Gage is making cupcakes that call for 160 grams of sugar for 1 tray of cupcakes. He's making it for a party, and he's going to make 7 trays. How many kilograms of sugar does Gage need? Oop, let's see. It's given in grams, but we're supposed to answer in kilograms. And we've got 7 trays. So the first thing you want to do is, and you can pause the video and try this first. You're going to take 160 grams times 7 trays, right? You're going to make 7 trays. So that's going to give us 1,120 grams. We need to convert this to how many kilograms? So I was going to scroll all the way back up. We would find that grams to kilograms, we have to move 3 places to the left. So we would start at grams, right? Grams, and we would go to kilograms, and we would find ourselves going 1, 2, 3 to get there. So we need to take this and go 1, 2, 3, and we get 1.12 kilograms of sugar. All right, if you are using the Lumen class, the online system, there are a set of videos in the summary for this module, the very last part of the textbook. There is a whole bunch of videos. So if any of this is confusing, you might want to go watch those videos. Thank you for watching.